Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
The mere fact that those responsible for taking the life of Shanquella Robinson are still out living their lives, walking freely as though we haven't seen the video, is sickening to say the least. We've been to the funeral, the rally. There's been letters sent to Mexico and now letters sent to the White House, and it still has been nothing to get Shanquella justice. Now there's new information coming out that not only was Shanquella Robinson not feeling comfortable there, after everything happened, the group was seen laughing. They also asked for a driver to take them to dinner. After dinner, they had the driver take them to the airport hotel, which they later booked it back to the United States, unbeknownst to anyone in Mexico. We have so much to break down on this story, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So again, there was a letter sent to President Joe Biden from Shanquella Robinson's attorney Benjamin Crump, as well as Sue Ann Robinson, no relation to the Robinson family. Now in this letter, they pretty much detailed to President Biden everything that's happened with this case, updating him from A to Z, the day she got to Cabo, the people that were there, the fake alcohol poisoning situation, Shanquella passing away after being beaten by Dejanay Jackson, the video that's come out, one of the Cabo 6 sharing the cell phone footage of Shanquella Robinson being beat by Dejanay Jackson to someone at Winston-Salem State University, causing it to go viral. They're asking for diplomatic intervention from the United States government to ensure that justice is served timely. Not only that, they have interviews from the concierge that worked at the Cabo Villa Linda number 32 that saw Dejanay and all of the Cabo 6, also witnessed the uneasy feeling from Shanquella Robinson, like she just was not a part of the group, and even had contact with Dejanay after she got back to the United States. Let's get into this first interview. The person who was interviewed, name has been redacted, but he worked at the Cabo Villa Linda number 32 for a year and a half. He's 39 years old, and he says, once I observed on my cell phone the video circulating in social networks where one of the two guests who had registered in the villa appear, where one of them dressed in pajamas with shorts and blouse, possible colors pink, white with black, and a light colored cap, appeared hitting another female person who was naked. The one who was hitting the other is a person named Dejanay Jackson, whom I identified because I served as a translator on the day of the events when the authorities were in the village conducting the proceedings. In the video, it can be seen that the headboard is illuminated by the sun rays, and due to the location of the sun rays, I can deduce that it's between 7 o'clock and 8:30 a.m. since the bedroom 1 and 3 are waterfronts, and it is easy to deduce the morning schedule since the sun rises on the seaside, illuminating those rooms. That is the room number 3 because that is the only one that has a hammock outside of it, and the hammock can be seen in the video. Also, after 10 o'clock a.m., the sun rays begin to reflect towards the floor of the bedroom. Since there are some pergolas on the outside of the room, I can also say that the villa, both at sunrise and sunset, are very annoying. For that reason, the owner decided to place wood on the windows to prevent the sun rays from entering. I know this because I am the administrator of the villa, and on many occasions I have been in the room at that time of the morning. Finally, I wish to state that the villa was reserved from October 28th to October 31st, 2022. That is all I wish to state. So that interview confirmed pretty much what we already knew. The attack happened on the 29th because that's the only day Shanquella would have been there in the morning alive, and also it happened between 7 o'clock and 8:30 a.m. and what room it happened in. Now the next person is 41 years old. His name has been redacted as well. He says that he works as concierge in attention and customer service and provides service assistance with doubt and any service that is needed for approximately 3.5 years at this villa. Now on October 28, 2022, he said he had been informed of the arrival of some of the guests to the Villa Casa Linda 32, located in the Padre Quino, Puertos Fundadores, Puerto Los Cabos, San Jose del Cabo, and Calle Padre Guillen. The day before, I was sent the work schedule of the villas that we are to take care of as concierges, so I knew the guests of the Casa Linda Villa would arrive around 3:00 p.m. on October 28, 2022. The main client was Dejanay Jackson with the phone number blank, who contacted me around noon by text message to report that her flight had been delayed due to the weather and that she would be telling me her new arrival time, confirming me that it would be at 5:19 p.m. Then she asked me if after arriving and taking the transportation, she could stop to do some shopping, to which I responded that there is no problem. Then she told me that she would be letting me know the time they were going to arrive. She texted me when they left the shopping center. She arrived at the Casa Villa Linda around 8:00 p.m. I had arrived at the villa around 15 minutes before, and upon entering, I see a person of slim build, African American, about 5'8", about 25 to 30 years old, to whom I introduced myself since he asked me who I was. I told him I am his concierge and that I will be supporting his vacation and everything he needs. Also at the villa were a chef, a waiter, who are employees at the company blank, and co-workers. Moments before, when I saw the guests, I was surprised since I wasn't aware that there were any guests already at the villa, to which the chef told me 2 people, a couple, had arrived a few hours before. However, I only saw the male guest described above. I prepared my registration sheets, the information I have to provide to the client, guacamole, tortilla chips, margaritas, and I waited for the main client, who arrived almost immediately in Cabo's transport. They got off with their groceries, bottles of alcohol, and tequila, put down their suitcases, started taking pictures of the villa. They looked excited. In total, 5 people arrived, 3 women, 2 of them African American, and 1 of them between African American and mixed Latino. The main one, Dejanay Jackson, who was of sturdy build, tall, dark skin with a thick voice. She was accompanied by 2 male guests of African American descent, both of them slim build. 1 of them had dreadlocks. I introduced myself to the main guest, Miss Jackson, as her concierge and welcomed her. I asked her if she would like to see the villa and show her to her room, along with some of her guests or friends, to decide who would stay in the rooms. We returned to the dining room to sign documents, which consist of guest registration, insurance included in the villa, and residential complex rules, and provide a copy of each one of them, registering the following: Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Shanquella Robinson, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. Eligible: investigation agent Suni Jazil Papaka Milian in this act. The main guest stayed in the master bedroom, which is located at the end of the living room. There are 2 rooms, and at the end of the kitchen is a TV or entertainment room, then an access with an open area which connects 3 more rooms. The first room on the left is a waterfront, and the room on the right is also a waterfront, and the third room, which is a double, not waterfront, being this is at the end of the garage. I went to the room of the main client, Mrs. Jackson, to mention to her that dinner was ready since 8:00 and that if it needed to be extended, they would be charged an extra hour, which she did not agree to, and sent everyone to dinner since everyone was settling in their room. Minutes later, they all sit at the table and began to drink a lot. That is when I meet Miss Shanquella, who was the last to approach the table to celebrate. Noticing in her strange attitude, she did not fit in with the others. When I introduced myself, she didn't greet me with a smile. She was indifferent, nothing to do with the atmosphere of the celebration. She was out of place at the party. I made sure that they were seated, having dinner, sharing and celebrating, and that they had information for the internet, the audio, the operations of the house. Once everything was ready, I left. All the clients, the chef blank with the phone number blank and the waiter blank with the phone number blank, stayed in the place. The next day at 1:50 or 1:52 p.m., I received a text message from the main guest, Miss Jackson, asking me if I am available and which is the nearest medical service. I greeted her and asked her how I could support her and if she was looking for a hospital. She answered yes. I think my friend has alcohol poisoning and needs emergency service and someone to speak or translate in Spanish for us. I offered to send a doctor so he could determine if it was necessary to go to the hospital, and I told her that the doctor speaks English. She answers yes, please. I tell her that it costs $100 for the visit plus the medicine. I ask her if she agrees, and she answers yes as soon as possible. I tell her that I will make the call to request the service, to which she answers yes, please. Around 2:00 p.m. on October 29, 2022, I call Dr. Blank, who is our contact for medical attention of our guest and whose number is blank. And in about 4 minutes, Miss Jackson texts me asking me what I've been told, and I answer her that a doctor is going to contact her to check her friend, and she replies, okay. Then he says that attached to the document is a screenshot of the conversation with Miss Jackson and I, where she asked me for medical help, and the conversation is recorded on 3-letter size sheets of paper attached here too. Then at 4:25, blank, who is the doctor, texted me and told me that the girl has to be hospitalized because after being evaluated, she has to be hospitalized and that her friends were finding out if they had insurance, to which I asked if she is in serious condition, and the doctor said no, but that she does need an IV. She is practically unconscious, which I don't see why that's not serious, and that's why she has to be hospitalized. Later, the administrator blank with telephone number blank called me to ask me if I requested an ambulance for the villa. I told him no. He tells me that security of Puerto Los Cabos is asking him about the request and access of an ambulance to Casa Linda number 32. Later, blank called me to tell me that the guest had died and asked me to go there as soon as possible, that he is already on his way to help in whatever way he can. I went from Puerto Los Cabos from Cabo San Lucas after having spoken with blank. Upon arriving at the villa, I find a couple of municipal police officers talking to blank in the parking area of the house, and one of the guests, who was of African American descent, regular build, short hair, was coming and going from the house and calling by cell phone a relative or friend in the United States, using blank as a translator. I also saw the main client, Miss Jackson, making contact with a male guest and on several occasions entering and leaving the house. During this time, I am waiting for blank to tell me what to do, since he is my concierge leader. So I enter the house, where I initially observe the guests, relaxed, calm, sitting in the living room area near the bar and dinner table. My purpose was to look for the main guest, Miss Jackson, and give her my condolences. When I talked to her, I gave her my condolences. She thanked me and told me that they had talked to her friend's mother and mentioned that this was so fast to lose her in an instant for having had too much alcohol. I asked her if I can give her a hug, to which she said yes, and she gave me a very indifferent hug, very cold. I saw a very sad guest, a skinny girl, and I saw that she was in pain. I left that area and stayed outside the main entrance to give them space to mourn and grieve. Minutes later, I heard laughter. I approached blank, who told me to leave to go back to my villas in Cabo San Lucas, that he will be in charge of following up and supporting the clients and the authorities. I said goodbye to the clients and I left for Cabo San Lucas. About 9:30 p.m., the main guest contacted me to request transportation to go to dinner because they had not eaten anything all day due to the situation. So I called blank with the phone number blank, who owns Lands End Transfer, requesting transportation for the clients of the Villa Linda 32 to San Jose to go eat dinner because they had not eaten anything. The driver advised of his departure from Villa Linda 32 to San Jose del Cabo to find a restaurant for dinner. At the end of the service, the driver blank with the phone number blank reported via audio message on the WhatsApp chat of the Lands End Transfer group that the service had ended and that he had left the guests at the airport hotel. The next day, blank called me to tell me that the maid was reporting that there was no one in the villa, that if I had been notified that they were leaving, to which I replied no, that the day before they had only requested transportation to the center. So later, around 11 o'clock in the morning, I sent a message to Miss Jackson to offer my support, asking if everything is okay and if there was anything I could do for it, without getting a response until the next day, Monday, October 31st, 2022, when she texted me asking if she had to do anything else for checkout, if she had to sign anything, I could email it to her as they had already left. Later, she asked me for my property manager's number, so minutes later, I sent it to her. Days later, I found out that there is a lot of controversy because of the news of that video of the main guest, Miss Dejanay Jackson, hitting her friend Shanquella, the guest who died. When I saw the video in social media, I realized that practically the main guest, Miss Jackson, had manipulated me with the information she provided of what happened to leave the country as soon as possible. It should be noted that she put the name of Nazir Wiggins as the last person on the guest list, or registry. Now, I was going to read certain excerpts from the autopsy, but out of respect for the family, I'm not going to do that. However, it is in this form. You can click on the link that I'll have detailed down below, and you can click on that yourself. The only thing I will say is this: a lot of the contusions and the hematoma that happened to her happened more than 12 hours before her death. Also, in my personal opinion, the things that are shown in this autopsy, I honestly believe that there was more than one fight, and I believe she was attacked by more than one person. I honestly do not feel that the fight that we saw was the end. I think something more severe happened after that. I can't prove it, but just by looking at this autopsy and speaking to someone in the medical field, it just seems like more happened than what we saw. I'm praying that we finally get justice for Shanquella Robinson. That was a lot, y'all. I know a lot of y'all don't like to hear me read, but I wanted you to know everything that was in there, and I did not want to miss anything. So what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything that I read regarding what happened that weekend? What do you think about Dejanay being the one that made contact with the concierge? Leave a comment. We got a lot to talk about, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.